So let's learn the rubber band. Now, for the rubber band, we will need a good sissy squat. We'll also need to be comfortable in our reverse tabletop shape. And thirdly, we'll also need to revisit the surge spinal wave. So let's run through those quickly, and then let's look at some progressions to build our rubber band. This is my favorite setup for the sissy squat. So using a dowel or a broomstick, we can jam it in against the cornice of the floor at a wall. You can have a target like a bolster, some yoga blocks, stack of books, whatever to measure your progress. Feet shoulder width apart, strong grip on the dowel pushing down. I lift up into my toes, nice and tall, and then I extend through the hips and I walk my way down the pole till my knees touch, and I walk back up, tippy toes, come back down to my flat feet. So lift on up and only go down so far as you can maintain hip extension without closing the hips. So if you find that you're doing this, then you need to elevate or raise your target, or you can even just go into the negative only, where you lower down, but then fold the hips to get back to the top. But what we want to build up to is somewhere that you can get anywhere from 5 to 10 reps comfortably. And as you improve the strength through the knees, slowly over time, don't rush these, we can eventually start to get down towards the floor. You'll also notice I have to shift my weight backwards. My head and shoulders travel further backwards the deeper I get. Ideal rep range, 5 to 10, 60 seconds rest between sets. For this variation of our reverse tabletop, we need long legs, feet shoulder width apart. Now the hands, I want the fingers facing slightly forwards on 45-degree angles just outside of the hips. What we're going to do is shift the weight forwards into the heels and then extend through the hips up into a nice high tabletop and sit back through into this long shape. And we're just going to move through this 10 times, looking for that nice high elevation in the top position. You should be feeling a stretch through the biceps and the chest, the front delts. Let the head hang back. Just starting to get a sense of that movement and also the top stretch. The rubber band also shares the surge spinal wave pattern. So if you haven't seen that full-length video earlier in this course, go check that out. But otherwise, just a quick recap, the movement needs to come from the feet, through the knees, hips travel forward, and we get this surging from the bottom spinal wave effect. This is the pattern that will help us for our rubber band. We need to send the weight forward, and we get this kind of surging spinal flow that will transfer over for the rubber band. Learning the rubber band is much easier from an elevated seated position. So something like this bench or a seat where you can put your hands down. Again, I'm turning my fingers 45 degrees to the front, outways like so. And I can begin by shifting my weight forwards into my toes. I get that reverse tabletop effect, and then I come up to standing. So with a bit more speed and momentum, we get this rubber band effect, hence the name. So I need the weight to shift forward into my toes. So we find that sissy squat open hip shape. With my fingers, I push off and I get that surge wave that helps ripple me forward. Whoop. Like so. You want to play with this height until it feels good. And then you guessed it, we're going to reduce the height of this box. Eventually we lower down until we get to the floor with our rubber band, and we need to start to think about shifting the weight so that the hips travel past the ankles so that I can start to make my ascent. So one of the keys is to have the hands a little further forward when you get down low, just so that you can drive the hips forward. And we can start to make our way up to standing. Once you've got your rubber band, it's time to play with some integrations. Here's a nice little one for you where we can do a little step back. So, a little step back. Hands will plant out in front, cock the leg over scorpion tail, land on the butt. And I do a spin on the butt if your surface allows, setting up for my rubber band out that way. So let's take a look at that. Once again, step back, plant, scorpion tail, switch, whoop, up we go. Add some more speed to that. Oh,